But let's move into the final topic, and we were talking about Bol Bol. But before we do that, check us out on iTunes. We'd appreciate your support over there. If you want to check us out, search The Fast Break and give us a 5-star rating if you do like the content that we are putting out. But we're talking about Bol Bol because he recently signed with an agent and declared for the NBA draft. So he's sticking in the NBA draft. He's not going to pull out of the NBA draft. Dave's a child and can't handle me saying those words.
I mean, I'd pull out. Right, Dave?
I'm not
Can't handle a kid right now.
Not looking at the camera. Not looking at the camera right now.
The freshman from Oregon played 9 games for the Oregon Ducks before injuring his foot. In those 9 games, he averaged 21 points per game, 9.6 boards, 1 assist, 56% from the field, 52% from 3 on 3 threes a game, and also 2.7 blocks. He is currently right now, for me, according to the last mock draft, he was 15th going to the Heat. Dave, you had him going to the. Hold on, sorry, this is an old one.
So Celtics.
The Celtics at 14, and then Ricky, you had him going all the way up to 8th. And I do want to respond to some things from the mailbag because I was.
This mailbag part 2.
I was. It's not really. I was.
But it is.
I was called out for some of my Bol Bol stuff. Nick, who's the Grizzlies fan who hates Dave, said, I think Bol Bol is the second coming of God. I see him being a 35, 15, and 5 player in his 3rd year, barring injury. You can't teach height. Why y'all don't have him at number 1? You said, what?
You can't teach that.
No, you can't.
I was gonna Enzo more in it.
And here's another one, too. From Ladyboy Lover, who said, Sean, your level of ignorance regarding Bol Bol is outstanding. I'll leave that as that. Forget about the injury debate because none of us know his future there. Talking about that much about his body, though, you sound like one of those people at the Combine that were criticizing Durant for being skinny and not being able to bench 185. He also said, let's see. Where is it? There was one other one that he said. Oh, it was this one. Well, y'all can't handle all my comments because no one mentions it. That's that, or it's discrimination based on my screen name. It's one of the two.
I was going to bring that up. No,
it's not.
To do with your name.
We just didn't.
Yeah.
We just didn't want to talk about any of the things that you were saying.
But we do appreciate all the comments.
Yeah, we do. But now we are talking about some
10 of mailbag.
I will say with Nick, Bol Bol is definitely what I think all of us can say. He's not going to be a 35, 15, and 5 player. 15 rebounds in
Kevin Garnett told me anything is possible.
Okay, but
when he was supposed to say nothing is impossible.
To just put that in perspective, at least for the rebound thing, the only guy grabbing 15 boards like in the past 10 years is Drummond. And I'm trying to get the year-by-year thing for this, but like that's elite category right there. He's not going to be a 15 board guy. He could definitely get like 12 or 13. Like he's got the height to grab those boards. 35 is definitely not going to happen. In the modern NBA, the only 2 people to do that is Kobe Bryant and James Harden.
Hits 10 threes a game?
He's not going to.
It's so easy to get 30 points then, right?
James Harden, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant are, I think, the last 3 guys to do 35 points per game, and the other guy is Wilt.
Yeah.
So, like, Wilt was doing it at a different pace play where the average height was, like, 6'8". And then Michael Jordan's doing it where, he's the greatest scorer of all time. Kobe Bryant's the greatest scorer of all time. James Harden's probably the greatest scorer over the past 10 years, at least scoring-wise, not player, because that goes to LeBron James. So he's not going to be scoring 35. So 35, 15, and 3, that's ridiculous, and that's not ignorance. He's not the second coming of God, but let's talk about him. Draft fits. You have to talk about injuries with him because he's a 7'3" center. Yeah, so barring injury, he might be the best player in this draft. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't be talking about injuries because we don't know what's going to happen. But
except in the case of the Porter family, where we know that their ACLs and MCLs are made of paper mache.
Yeah,
but I told you guys that.
And I didn't want to give credit.
You were all like, well, Ricky, you can't do that. I told you.
Well, it was just because you brought it up 14 times. Like, we got it.
Medicine.
Michael hasn't gotten hurt again yet. He hasn't played, but he hasn't gotten hurt. Jonte, different story.
But also back, not ACL.
All right, Bol Bol. I think the thing, though, is like you have to talk about Bol Bol with his injuries because he's a 7-foot center who's getting injured. Yeah. You have to talk about Kristaps Porzingis now because of with his injuries because of his injury history at 7'3". He just tore his ACL. We don't know how 7-footers come back off torn ACLs. You got to look at Greg Oden. Greg Oden was a 7-foot center. He was not good because of his injury history. If Bol Bol has an injury history, he's not going to be good, and he's not going to be as valuable to your team who's drafting, who's trying to change your franchise because of this injury history. If you're looking at the Wizards, well, the Wizards are dealing with a franchise player right now in John Wall who's injured constantly. So you need to at least take that into effect that you're not going to just be drafting a guy and wasting that pick and hurting Bradley Beal's teammates and his chances to produce and be a lifetime wizard that he said he wants to be. If you're looking at the Grizzlies, you're trying to find a corner piece to put next to Jaren Jackson Jr. Now Bol Bol and Bruno. But putting him next to Jaren Jackson Jr., Bol Bol, if he's going to be injured, and clearly that might not be the best fit, clearly, but if we're just talking about the future, you're not going to be drafting a guy, whether that's him or Darius Garland, that's going to possibly have these major injury concerns. Being over 7 feet tall already puts you at a high injury risk, and already injuring yourself in college is something that is a red flag. Now, if we're talking strictly based on production and on his play style, what are some of the best fits for him team-wise that you feel that are out there, Dave?
Team-wise, like no injury concerns, he would be a top 5 pick. Like,
so like, what's the first team to pull on him? Like if he's entering the draft,
if his medicals
he clears his medicals
completely.
I'm still in the camp of if he clears his medicals, I'm still very concerned about him because of his height, because of his past injury, history.
If the Hawks have the double pick, I'm taking him with the second one.
Okay, so that'd be the first one you take.
Absolutely.
If you've got 5 and 6,
you got 2 first-round picks. If they stick at 5, 6, or as long as they maintain that Mavs pick, then I'm absolutely taking him.
5, 6, I'll take him at 5.
It doesn't
just to
matter.
Be different.
It doesn't even matter for me because I understand John Collins is a 2010 monster, and there's not a ton around what Bol Bol can do playing purely at the 5 at the NBA level because he is so slender. But I think that there's just something about that talent that you're going to take it, fit be damned, because just the upside of having someone who can shoot that well at that size, why would you pass that on?
That was going to be the one thing I bring up because you brought this up in the past, but I believe I had him going to the Hawks before, was the fact that the fit of him and John Collins together is not good.
It doesn't seem good in my head. I could be wrong, but it just
because Collins isn't great defensively.
It's awful.
And Bol Bol, he can protect the rim. I mean, he was averaging 3 blocks a game in college, which is impressive. It was only in 9 games, but still, I feel like that could have been something.
And he's got a 7'9" wingspan, I think. So
I still feel like his blocks will be able to carry through the season, at least in the college season. But I think that at least defensively, that'd be a poor fit down low.
Could be.
But again, I think I would agree with you. If he didn't have these injury history, I mean, I had him when he was fully healthy in my top 5. He'd be a top 5 pick for sure. If the Hawks have those 2 bullets, you got to take one of them as Bol Bol. But he does have that injury history. Ricky, where would you put him, at least in your mind? Are you still with Dave? Like, the highest he can go if he clears his medicals is at the Hawks as well?
Of course. And the reason why, the thing I love the Hawks the most is there's an article from a while ago from Soaring Down South, which is the Hawks fan-sided site. And they kind of went through, like, their 3 reasons for why Bol Bol would be such a great fit. The first 2 are just his play, where one's defensive, like his shot blocking ability and his defensive ability around the rim. Then you also have his offensive versatility. He's not the traditional big man of stick him down low, which might be good injury-wise because he's not going to be down there kind of banging offensively all the time with bigger players. He can step out, shoot from beyond the arc as well. Well, that squirrel kind of jumped, kind of got me off guard. The last one I love the best. The Hawks are in no rush. Even if he needs like a Michael Porter Jr. of like take the year to continue to rehab, they could do it.
We're saying healthy.
Well, healthy, right, for sure. But even if he's not healthy, I'd still think about taking him with that second pick. Because they're in no rush. The Hawks are in no rush to win right away. Well, so, like, why not take him? Because if you have the 2 picks, why not take him if you think he's going to
as far
become
as
healthy?
The biggest
draft,
thing is,
like, how many guys have higher upside than him?
They don't, but I think that he also has one of the lower floors.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because
he got the league in 3 years.
Yeah, and because he's not going to be able to play 30 minutes a game. He's going to be playing like 20.
We don't
20
know that.
to 23.
We don't know that. We don't know if he's going to be Boban-esque and he's just going to be a matchup nightmare for some teams.
Yeah, because, really he played 30 in college, but he was going up against much smaller guys.
I don't think there's any reason to cap his minutes right now. I think that he can come in the NBA if he clears out medically at the Combine and he's good to go. Lots of assumptions, I understand. I don't think there's any reason why on a bad Hawks team, and I'm saying bad, they could be a playoff team in the East next year, but like I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be playing like 25 minutes a night. In that 25 to 30 range, I think is completely normal in my mind for him. It's just, where does his shooting continue to stay at that 3-point level as he adds volume to it? Obviously it's not going to be 54%? 52%?
52 on three attempts a game.
Jesus Christ.
He was 13 of 25.
Yeah. I mean, it's low volume, but still. I'd love to see, if he can stay a 40% shooter from 3 at the NBA level, taking over 3 a game. Yeah, he's just money. He's just money.
So I'm going to throw this out here just because it's funny.
Yeah.
This is why Reddit wins the internet most days.
Yep.
Comment number 1. And after that, fuck it. Have Orlando draft him and play full lineup of 7-footers. The first response, oh my God, imagine the lineup. Bol Bol, Bamba, Gordon, Isaac, Frazier.
Oh my
That'd
God.
be your lineup.
Where's Wesley Iwundu in that one?
Yeah. He's only 6'9". We're not taking that.
I think one thing, too, that at least hurts him a little bit, Bol Bol, that does worry me, is the fact that he's 7'3", but when he was going up against top competition, these are the 3 teams that he played.
Yeah.
He played 3 teams that were in the tournament this year. Houston, Syracuse, and Iowa. Those games as being 7-3 or whatever it is. 7 boards, 9 boards, and 7 boards. He did put up points, 14, 26, and 23.
Which one was the Houston? Can you give me that stat?
Houston, 17 of 14 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 7 of 9 from the line, 7 boards, 3 blocks, 1 assist, no personal fouls, which is impressive, and 23 points.
It's like Houston swarms their defense, especially in the low post. So
they lost that game by 4.
Yeah.
But he still had an efficient game. So I think the thing that I would look for in a team is clearly a team with 2 shots like Atlanta. If Atlanta's up there, that's going to be the first team that takes them. I think if Cleveland falls, that would be an interesting team. If he's fully healthy, let's take injuries out just because people want us to. If he's fully healthy, and let's say this is just one random thing, I think Cleveland would be a very interesting fit for them if they fell to like 6 or like 7.
Yeah,
I think that's the lowest.
That's
the
lowest they can fall. Yeah.
If they fall to 7, I think that's going to be very interesting because there's not a player with a higher upside. You're right. At least at that spot. And I think Colin Sexton and Bol Bol would be an extremely, extremely interesting pick and roll pairing. And defensively, they're going to need to bolster around that. But I mean, Larry Nance plays decent defense. He's a very high energy guy.
Everything. Yeah.
And I mean, you having him at the 4,
contract.
K Love, he might get traded. So I think one thing though that I think it would just be very interesting to see those 2 next to each other because that's just very high potential. And it would take scoring loads off of Colin Sexton. The defense might not be great, but I just see Colin Sexton's speed,
you got
Bol
TT
size.
to hold down the low post still. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think if Cleveland falls, I'm looking at the 5 through 10 range. I guess technically, like every one of those teams, like the Grizzlies matchup wise, I agree with you. I don't love that if trying to put him next to Jaren Jackson Jr.
If we're talking about injured players, it's Garland over Bol Bol in my mind for the Grizzlies.
Yeah. I would agree with you there. I think he would absolutely fit their needs going forward. Wizards, you made the concerns about John Wall clear, but I just don't give a damn. Like that's a team where I'm like, this one in my head, when I said the person, I was like, I feel like an asshole, but I'm like, I think this actually might work for them.
And then I did it in the mock draft, and you're like, oh shit, this could actually work for them.
I convinced you, and then you reconvinced me and be like, maybe I should have done that.
Health out of it, yes, I think it's a very good fit.
Yeah,
but it's just the fact that if you have the guy you paid $47 million when he's 32 years old out right now, the last thing you want to do is draft a number 1 overall pick and him get hurt again.
Yep.
I mean, this team just consistently gets setback after setback. And you want to keep Bradley Beal healthy. I mean, the guy's saying he wants to die in a Wizards uniform. Well, at least let him die happy. So I think drafting Bol Bol and then you're fucking up you're taking 2 Oregon guys back to back. Troy Brown's not even playing, and then if Bol Bol gets injured,
now he is. He's actually getting minutes.
Oh wow, it took him 75 games.
Yeah, it did.
But that's the thing with Bol Bol is like if he doesn't play right away, then you're wasting 2 draft picks. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that you have to look at.
But is it really a waste? Because I mean,
if he doesn't play, yes. If he does not play, it's a waste.
Doesn't play ever, yeah, I guess. Any pick would be a waste. But like,
if he plays 40 games in a season and he gets injured, it's a waste. It's a waste.
Where's your break-even point, Sean? Where's your like?
What do you mean?
I can take him in the top 10 as the Wizards. Say it lands at 8. Take him with the Wizards at 8. Like, how many games does he have to play? How many minutes a game? Like, because I feel like for
in
you,
a season?
I feel like for you, there's this magical line in your head somewhere. You're like, it's a waste if you take him at this point. Like at number 8. Like if he gives me 60 games,
the biggest
and
thing
24 minutes a game.
It depends on why you're not playing him. If you're playing him because you're wanting to ease him back in from injury and make sure he's not going to get injured, and he plays like 60 games at like 23 minutes, and he doesn't have an injury flare up, and those games are all of rest, or like he has like some like minor thing, like he got sick or tweak something
real hard.
Yeah, like if he plays like 60 games, 55 games, and it's just because of rest, and they want to make sure he's maintained
way more
throughout
than
the
Troy
season.
Brown played this year.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fantastic pick. But it's not really about what he does right away as a freshman. It's going to be, can he make it to his 7th year? Can he make it to his second contract, the end of his second contract? And if he does that, he's going to be a fantastic player.
Do you think?
Or at least a very useful player. Because at that point, he's at least making it that far. My biggest concern is that he reaches year 3 and he's like Kristaps Porzingis, where Kristaps is phenomenal. Like I'm not saying like he has the same career as Kristaps, where Kristaps is averaging 22 and 4 blocks. But I'm saying he makes it to year 3 and he tears his ACL and he's not playing. He misses a whole year after that. Like I'm just concerned about him getting injured and consistently being injured and not being able to be out there, where we're always imagining and wonder, what could have Bol Bol been? What could have Kristaps been if they stayed healthy? Because those type of players just give me so much concern, because it's not because they're not talented. Yep. Greg Oden was extremely talented. He wouldn't because of Kevin Durant, because yes, some people had the skinny worries about him, but Kevin Durant put up 28 fucking points in college.
Kevin Durant was a pure shooter. He's a shooting guard who happened to be 7 feet tall.
Yeah, people didn't realize what the NBA was going to become, and Kevin Durant's clearly a great fit for that.
But Greg Oden had that initial success on that Blazers team, where I think they were like on pace for like 60+ wins for the seasons he played. It was like, no, he's legitimately good. He just broke, his body gave up on him. Yeah. But he was a frame. There's a different frame he's built on as well. You have to admit that Bol Bol is a slender frame. His arms and legs are much skinnier. He carries a lot of it through his core, which could be good for him. It's just the question of the knees and the ankles. Like you said, it's just, foot problem, ankle problem, knee problem. That is, and then the back. I think his core is solid. I'm not worried about his back as much as the other big men who really carry a lot of upper body weight.
And we see accidents happen. I mean, he's not going to be like Yusuf Nurkic, like jumping high up and then falling down. I think Bol Bol's going to stay. Bol Bol's not a flyer. You know what I'm saying?
Watching Nurkic's injury, Ricky.
I wasn't gonna watch it, and then you said the leg snap, and I was like,
shut up. But
once I saw the words Mike picked it up, my brain was like, well, I got it.
My thing is just like, I feel like the worst thing that could happen is just like something that happens in a basketball game, where like let's say Joel Embiid goes up, slams one home over Bol Bol, comes down and accidentally lands on his foot, shatters his foot. Well, there's a season loss for Bol Bol. And I think that can happen. That's his injury risk of just normal basketball injuries are already increased
than any other center in this league.
Yes. He's
He's
that much skinnier. He's that much smaller.
He's 240, I thought.
It's not about the actual pounds. It's we were talking about he's carrying in his core. And the place that's going to hurt your career the most for a big man is not, I tore my shoulder. Like, no, it's the legs. And we're saying the biggest injury risk for Bol Bol are his legs automatically coming in. And yes, he can add on weight. He totally can. Maybe. But let's look at his father. We're looking at just straight genetics. I don't know much about genetics. I am not a doctor, shockingly. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even an NBA draft analyst, right? I'm not an expert.
Look, Mom,
that's
an
not
NBA
me.
Draft analyst.
That's not me.
Yeah.
But I can at least make the assumption that Bol Bol might be a little bit bigger than his father because of modern NBA day training, and they know so much more about bodies. But I also think Manute just didn't have the ability to put on weight and keep it up, because just his body was so thin and it had to work so much harder to do anything that was just out of the normal. Like, for 7-footers, like, it's tough for them to go daily. So how is he going to play 82 games? And the fact that
he's been healthy up to this point in his career. You have to give him credit. Like, he's not a guy who's had like Harry Giles-esque injuries since high school.
No,
since
but
middle
he's
school.
also plays a different game than Harry Giles.
Just saying,
Harry Giles was so athletic, jumping 37 inches in the field.
So his game doesn't mean that he is going to have those explosive injury blowouts of.
Well, my thing is not offensively; it's defensively.
Oh,
that's going to be scaring me. Is defensively, that's where he's going to get hurt. He can be a pick and pop monster.
Yeah,
he could be in the low post and face up. I don't think he's going to be doing a lot of post moves, because I think he's going to be able to get his shot contested a ton. I think he could be a 7-footer that shoots like 60 to like 55% around the rim, just because of his size. He might get pushed around a lot. But I think one thing though is just like, when he's playing defense, he's in the low post, he's getting driven on. Like, if he gets crossed over, he might twist his ankle. Like, I'm just concerned about just daily, like, small things we might overlook, just hurting and killing his career just because of his lack of size when it comes to his legs.
All right, so Wizards, you'd probably be in for him though if he goes into the combine and individual team workouts, and he's able to move laterally, like you're pretty much in on him there, right then? Or do you think that's still too much of a risk? If you don't know the future, he very well could get injured the very next day. But he goes into those workouts, and he looks like he can move laterally. His shot's still there. That didn't change at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not going to have a 40-inch vert.
His shot is not perfect. His form is very low. He shoots like near his chin.
Which is still at like 6'10".
Yes, but it's still when you're going up against NBA guards and not San Diego University.
I'm sorry, hang on. 6'11".
I know,
he's
but
7'3".
I'm saying like
I get you.
A lot of his 3-point shots were uncontested, trailing threes, or he was just coming up top of the key and he was shooting like literally the ball's like here by his chin. That's a concern when you're going up against NBA level defensemen. If he's going up against a Brandon Clark's going to stuff that shit. Like Brandon Clark with his vertical, with his wingspan, he's going to stuff that shit. So like that's one thing where it's just like I am worried about his initial his initial acclimation to the NBA, and then also how he's going to physically play in the NBA. I do worry about that, and that's the biggest thing. His upside is phenomenal. It is. It's crazy. If he gains weight, if he adds it on, he could be a rim protector that blocks 3 shots a game and shoots 45% from 3 and scores 20 points a game and grabs 15 boards. Like he can be an absolute monster.
Could you imagine
I worry about the floor of him.
Him next to Anthony Davis if Anthony Davis doesn't get traded next year? Come on. Like, you can't tell me that doesn't get you excited. Well, like Anthony Davis is one of the best defenders of all time. Like coming out of college, he was incredible. Yeah. NBA, he's been nothing short of phenomenal. And adding in a floor spacer of the like of Bol Bol
with the defense,
I'll one up you.
With basically, you just got 2 guys who can just do this and block all of the shots within 8 feet of the net.
I'll one up you. L.A. LeBron.
I was going to bring it up.
Come on.
I was totally going to bring up
what
the
does
Lakers.
LeBron need around him?
Oh, no.
What does LeBron need around him?
Spacing.
Shooters.
No.
Shooters.
But
who's shooting 52% from 3?
But not
Bol
even
Bol.
that. I was sitting here waiting in the wings. Dave, look at it here. Whose spot rack do I have pulled up?
You got the Lakers.
The Lakers. I was sitting here waiting in the wings, waiting for you guys to just do your thing.
Yeah.
And then I dropped this Laker bomb on you. You beat me to the punch there. But like, not just that, not just the shooting thing, but let's just say the Pelicans are not going to trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers. They're not. Yeah. They're just not. And for me then, if you're going to go out and get free agents for LeBron, how many of them are centers? 0? You're going to be targeting
Vucevic.
Okay. I don't think they're going to like the big free agents they're getting.
We gave him up. We made a mistake. We want him back. What?
The big free agents are, I'm looking at like Kawhi's. I'm looking at those guys. None of them are centers.
DeMarcus.
Why not draft DeMarcus, but if you're going to...
He's the biggest one.
I would say that he is not 1-2 on their list. He is just outside of that.
I wouldn't argue.
And if they're getting the guys that they want, Bol Bol would be a nice fit there defensively and a shooter for LeBron at the 5.
Not defensively. He'd be bad defensively as a 5. I mean, his best position probably is a 4 in the NBA.
I mean, defensively 4 or 5, I think he'll be fine. Why? I have no questions.
Why do you think he's going to be fine defensively as a 5? He's too small.
Because I don't... Bol Bol?
He's too thin. Too small.
I don't...
He's 7'3", 240 pounds.
How you put up
LeBron
the
James is 6'9"
size
and
thing,
bigger
like
260.
Go look at Joel Embiid when he was in college. Like the kid put on weight.
But there are body transformations.
Okay, but here's
Sean's argument.
I know the genetic thing, but
we'll
see. Science is different now too than when Manute was in the NBA.
It's completely different though because
like now these guys have dietitians and stuff like that. Like even look at like
he's going to work out. Unlike
Mo Bamba was even talking about it last year when he declared.
A big thing too is Joel came here when he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So he didn't have the lifelong, lifespan here in the U.S. as Bol Bol has. So immediately we know more about from the birth. I mean, we knew Bol Bol was going to be a basketball player, so they were probably already putting him in camp since the age of 9. So that's why he was so much skilled.
Yeah.
And one thing too about Joel, like just look at Joel's arms when he was in Kansas. Like he still had massive arms, and he still had freakishly long hands. Like, he was small, and he wasn't the Joel Embiid freak that he is now. Yeah. But Joel was still built. Joel still had, like, you could see the frame of him. Where Bol Bol is just skinny. Like, Bol Bol is just, like, rail thin with his arms. And he's rail thin with his legs. Joe didn't have the same time to build up those muscles. And then he had that whole year off where he did have the time to build up that muscle. So that was the big thing with Joe, that he had a very unique circumstance where he had a very short time in the USA to actually use our weight programs and build up. Yep. And then he had that whole season where it was pretty much dedicated to working on a shot and getting bigger. Bol Bol, we're assuming that he's going to step in right away and just play basketball games. And I feel like if he's doing a weight program, let's say on Tuesday, and he has a game on Wednesday, he's going to be able to just, like, he might get thinner and leaner, but we don't want him to get leaner. Because, he's going to be using a ton of cardio through those games and then doing weightlifting. So he's going to, make everything tighter. I mean, this is just human, phonetics. He might look more ripped, but that doesn't mean he's going to get bigger. He needs to add weight, and that's it.
He needs to collect mass. Yeah.
There's about
and it's
going to be tough during the NBA season, and it's going to be tough, with a foot injury to start lifting. Like, I don't know where he is right now in his program, but it's going to be tough for him to be where Joel is, because they have completely different body types. We can already base Bol Bol's body type off of his father's. That's going to be near similar. He grew up to be near the same height. Yep. I think he's bigger than his father right now. I don't think his dad was that big. But I just worry about his actual base. I don't think that he had the same base college-wise that
Manute was 7'7".
That Joe did. It's 4 inches smaller, but I'm saying size, mass-wise.
Got it.
I think Manute was smaller that wise.
Entirely possible.
I don't know. I'm looking at a picture of Manute.
He was 201.
It looks exactly like Bol Bol.
Yeah, it's like they look...
Manute was 201 pounds.
They look exactly the same.
Yeah, so, and Bol Bol is 240. But, I mean, look at those arms. Like, does that not look like Bol Bol?
Yeah.
And Manute's not big. Like, and I don't think I think that was just genetics. Like, Bol Bol was, or Manute was a little...
Like, I'm not saying Bol Bol is going to have a just complete transformation, but the thing I do kind of lean into is the type of NBA it is. Like, I go back even to Mo Bamba last year when he declared of how he was talking about not just working on his shot, but he's like the whole, like, the dietitians that these guys hire to kind of make a plan for them. And if Bol Bol is smart, hey, I'm going to have this person that I'm hiring and paying to build me out this plan to make sure that I am healthy, that I'm going to add the weight in the right areas at the right way. And if you're worried about that cardio leaning it out, hey, how do we change this diet program to make sure that doesn't happen?
I just think that there is the possibility that is not add on weight, and he's different than his dad. The fact that he's at the size that he is right now is huge. I think it also helps that he's not 7'7". His dad was Guinness Book of World Records. He was 7 feet,
and it's like
6 3/4 feet tall.
Mean, Yao Ming was so much more physically built up and taller.
Yeah.
So once you get a certain size, you're no longer practically in the NBA.
When Manute arrived in the USA, he was 180 pounds and gained just under 20 by the time he entered the NBA. The Bullets sent him to University of Maryland strength coach Frank Costello, where he initially only lifted 44 pounds on a 10-repetition bench press and 55 pounds on a 10-repetition squat. His BMI was 15.3 and initially had a 31-inch waist. I have a 33.
Yep.
So the Manute was a very rare case, but I think Bol Bol is definitely at a better starting point than his father was. Yeah. But I think there are concerns that he's never going to be the Joel Embiid size. Joel is ripped. I don't think he's ever going to be that size, and that concerns me. But at least let's get to the fit part, because we keep getting.
That's what I was trying to do.
My bad. Best fits: Atlanta, Washington. You're saying New Orleans, Dave. Ricky, you're saying Lakers.
Hilarious.
Any other ones that stick out there?
The T-Wolves would be
interesting. I think that'd be horrible.
No, I don't think it'd be horrible.
I don't think he. Go ahead.
It wouldn't be like I just look at the T-Wolves too of like as a team also of like you already have Cat there, so you don't have to rely on him as much as you would if guarding fives and playing defense against the fives is what bothers you the most.
Yeah, but Cat sucks.
Cat doesn't do either of those already.
Cat's bad defensively.
There's help there is what I'm saying. Like there's two. It's not Anthony Davis levels of dominance, but like there's help there. Plus, the T-Wolves are also, to me, kind of like the Hawks in a sense of, like, If it takes a couple years, we're fine with that. We're not going to compete right away next year, even more so because they're in the West with a ton of stacked teams in that conference. I almost said division, but conference.
I don't know that I agree with you there because of their contract situation. Because Cat is getting the max soon. They're already paying Wiggins the max. They've got so much tied up in contracts that I think that they are, fast approaching that we need to have people contributing pretty quickly, and we need to actually be having results for all this money we're wasting, basically.
Yeah, Cat's contract extension kicks in next year. He's going to be making $27.25, and then he's going to make 29, 31, 33, 35 as a 27-year-old. So, I mean, that's going to be something that ages
so they've got two maxes on their team.
Yeah, and Wiggins, there's a video about him being the worst shooter in the NBA, and it's not too far off. He just kicked off his 4-year, 147 extension. He's getting paid 25, 27, 29, 31, 33. And that's going to be all the way until 2022, 2023. So that's a massive concern right there. So I feel like they do need to hit, and I feel like Brandon Clark would be a much better fit. He's better defensively, and you already have an offensive machine in Karl Anthony Towns. So I would say just keep feeding the ball to Cat. Like don't change up anything about the offense besides give Wiggins the ball less.
Unless you're against the Thunder.
He
just wrecks them.
But I would say that Minnesota, personally, I don't find it to be a good fit because defensively, I think you need a stronger anchor than Karl Anthony Towns. That's why a team with Anthony Davis would be much more appealing to me. Or I feel like you just don't put him with maybe Jaren Jackson would make sense, but Mike Conley, Jaren Jackson, Bol Bol would be crazy. But I think that you need to find somebody with an offensive monster. And if the Orlando Magic didn't have Aaron Gordon and they didn't have Jonathan Isaac, I would love to see Mo Bamba and Bol Bol play next to each other. That would be extremely fun.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right.
I think he just doesn't fall past 15. I think his range is 5 to 15. I think the best fit for him would probably to just land in a team where he doesn't need to contribute right away, a team that has a lot of veteran leadership, and a team that can, at least put some defensive guys out there who can play physically out there, and that'd be Boston. Boston can play physically with Al Horford. They can play physically with Aaron Baines. They can play physically with Morris if he re-signs. Probably going to be unlikely that he does, but they can play physical with him. Jaylen Brown can also play physical as well, guarding wings. I think Bol Bol would probably be best fit and best suited to go 14 to Boston.
And just like Atlanta, they have a ton of picks to say, we'll use one on him.
Yeah, like what happens if Memphis pick falls down past their protected 8th slot, and you got the Celtics at 9 going, well, been fun. Yeah. I'm going to take Bol Bol at 9.
100%.
And just totally mess up. Like that would mess with everything because that means they still have more picks later in this draft. They've got the capital. They've got the chance to take a chance.
And make the playoffs with or without him. It's kind of like the Nuggets thing. They could take Michael Porter Jr. because they're playing with house money. Final thoughts on Bol Bol and best fits. What's the biggest glaring one that you think? I think it's Boston.
The biggest best fit.
Yeah, take away Hawks. Take away picks.
To me, the Hawks. I just like what he brings to that team with John Collins being there. I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue as you think. And he can really help that Hawks team, and it's not something that rushes their timeline. It kind of fits their timeline because they're not looking to compete for a title next year.
Yeah. I sort of, if Anthony Davis isn't getting traded,
yes,
I want him on the Pelicans.
Just say the Pelicans.
But
what if?
Yeah.
What if Boston doesn't use the 14th pick? They keep that Sacramento pick, and they trade Jason Tatum away. They get Anthony Davis, and they take Bol Bol.
Then yes,
Bol Bol.
There you go. That's the best fit for them is just get Anthony Davis and then take Bol Bol. Take the big guy.
I want them together on the NBA court. Make it happen, NBA.
I want to make it clear, though, that I am rooting for him.
Yeah.
It would be extremely fun for him to see.
Every time we talk about him, Sean's got to be on the negative side.
Because I feel like everyone, it's kind of like, let's look at the YouTube comments. Someone's calling him God. Someone's saying that he can get 35, 15, and 3. That he's going to be this offensive machine, no doubt, right away. He's a top 5 pick. You have to take in these injury concerns.
Is there a reason why he is so much better than Darius Garland, a guy who played a couple less games than him, but offensively, you don't hear the same stuff about Darius Garland. I get it. Darius Garland's not 7'3", but Darius Garland was an incredibly productive guard, instant offense, just deadly, great handles. Like there's a lot to love there, but people aren't getting as upset about that. Like I don't know.
Well, I
feel like
upset. What do you mean upset?
Like that we don't have him, 5 or 4. Like I think.
Well, I think because Bol Bol is it's easy to fall in love with him.
Yeah.
He's 7'3" and can shoot 52% from 3.
Yeah.
Like he's a fun player to watch. I mean, that was one thing that Ladyboy Lever said was that once Bol Bol went down was that the fact that his engagement in the college season went down.
It's
he's a fun player to watch.
It's kind of like Mo Bamba from last year. Mo Bamba was easy to fall in love with last year.
Yeah, now he can't get on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's the big thing for Bol Bol is that it's tough to fall in love with. And you also saw him more. Garland played 2 games, 3 games.
Like 5, yeah.
So it was tough to see him out there. And Bol Bol has been on the radar forever. I mean, Bol Bol was, I think, top 10 high school recruit. And Garland, I think, was like 15, 16, something like that. And he was a guy that just
we've known about Bol Bol for longer.
Exactly. He's coming from Manute Bolt's he's coming from he's coming from Manute Bolt's tree, and I think people even Manute Bolt wasn't like a stud in the NBA. He wasn't an MVP. He wasn't anything like that. But you knew Manute Bolt right away because he's the largest player, tallest player to ever play in the NBA. So I think that's a reason why people just like Bol Bol so much. And I'm generally rooting for him. I hope he does pan out. You're just laughing because I said he was going to come from Manute Bolt's seed.
I thought you were going to say something on those lines.
Dave's a child. Let us know your thoughts on Bol Bol down in the comments below. We do appreciate all your feedback, whether it's negative, positive. We want to hear you guys' opinions because that's what this is all about. We're not experts. We're not 100% right.
We're just guys who like talking about basketball.
Yeah, and we talked about it for over
2 hours.
This is 40 minutes. The other one was 45. The first one was an hour 11, so it's been a while.
We're just becoming a 2 to 3 hour podcast.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon, not sprint.
That's going to do it, though. For Dave Oster, for Ricky Widmer, I'm Sean Anderson. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/MostOutPodcast.
And April 2nd.
We're updating our stuff on April 2nd. I got you. And check out iTunes as well. Please rate us 5 stars. If you have the opportunity to, head over, search The Fast Break, and rate us 5 stars. But for Dave, Ricky, I'm Sean. We'll see you next time.